Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CB Star Radio with your host, Crystal Barker King. I wanted to come on today and just go over a few things that have happened over the last few weeks. The energy in the world has shifted really drastically, and I just needed a few days to kind of step back and regroup myself before I came on and talked about, what's been going on and how I feel about it. I really needed time to process the weight of what's happening in the world. I know I'm not alone in saying that the energy in the room feels different. Something has shifted, and everyone can feel it. Today, I want to talk about that shift. I want to talk about some of the events that have unfolded this past week, and why it's so important that we don't just move on autopilot, but instead we pause, pay attention, and we look deeper, because not everything is as it seems. And you can say that's a conspiracy theorist point of view. I don't really care at this point. I know in my lifetime, and I'm only 43, there has been a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who were labeled and turned out to be right. So I really like to do my own research and dig on my own level. The heavy shift that has happened in the past few weeks has been full of moments that shook people. I mean, we have seen headlines of violence and loss. We watched a man get shot on social media. I mean, that's not normal. We were not designed for that. Nobody should be able to watch that and be okay at night and sleep at night. We have seen public grief turned into massive gatherings and rallies. We've seen conflict overseas where innocent families, babies are dying, children are dying, hospitals are being bombed, entire communities are being put to rubble. There is just so much anger and war and death in the world, and people are suffering because of it. These things don't just exist out there on screens. They ripple into us, and then we bring it into our home, and then we bring it into our family, and then we project our emotions back onto our loved ones and then into our work environment. They shift the total collective atmosphere, and suddenly everyone in the room can feel the tilt. I mean, I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of people have been saying it. I have my own theories, which I'm not really going to go into as to what I really believe is happening, but I am going to go through some of it. And here is the truth, my truth. Grief, outrage, and fear are so powerful. Negativity is like an explosion. It is extremely detrimental, extremely powerful. However short-lived, it is powerful. It's like they glue people together really quickly. So if everyone's grieving, then everyone's going to grieve. If everyone's outraged, you're going to see an outpouring of outrage. And if everyone is fearful, you're going to get fear. They band together like tribes. It's insanity, the amount of people that I see that just follow along, and the ones that are just out there right now doing what everyone else is doing instead of thinking freely for themselves. And a lot of times the tribes will make life simple. They'll be like, who's right, who's wrong, who's the enemy, or who the enemy is. And that can feel comforting to people. When a lot of people, I find, they need to be told what to think, which is strange to me because I'm a free thinker, but I do know people and have people in my life who will often come to me or others and say, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? And I do ask that question too, but I will come to my own, I'll come to my own judgment of the situation or what I feel is factual. But while that's comforting, it can really blind you. It can blind people, blind us so badly that it will incite conflict when there really doesn't need to be conflict. And I think humans have forgotten to just be simple. Everything has got to feel like it has a narrative or that it has more meaning than maybe it did. You know, and this might be an unpopular opinion, you know, the podcaster that was shot and killed at the college campus. There are many out there that are saying he's a martyr and that, you know, he died doing God's work. And while I believe that he was very public about his religion and his beliefs, I don't agree with everything he said. And I don't believe that his take on religion or the Bible were the only way either. I think he interpreted it based off of his upbringing, his church, his beliefs, his narrative, and he was able to connect with a lot of people because of that. I think that a lot of people are forgetting that he started out not preaching the Bible. He had that as his foundation, but he went into the political side. And, you know, that in itself carries huge backlash. So there's been a lot of division over his passing. But the energy definitely feels strange to me and very unsettling, because we're watching grief and fear shape something. I don't know what it's shaping into yet, but it looks like unity. But other times it looks like division. It looks like money. It looks like power. You know, I don't know if anyone watched the funeral service, but when a funeral becomes a political rally or when tragedy becomes a fundraising moment, something really sacred can be lost there. And if you really are into the Bible and God and love, you're not going to preach your narrative or your beliefs to gain money, to gain followers. You're not going to use that. It's just, there's an agenda here. And if you cannot see that there's an agenda here, I don't know how to get you there. It does take me time and discernment, obviously, to get to where I can see it clearly, and I can see it. It doesn't matter to me what side, red, white, or blue, you're on. It's clear. It's very clear. Look who's leading the funeral rally. Look who is talking to you and how many people are showing up to this. I mean, you could buy a ticket. you could buy a ticket. I'm sorry, that's not funny. I'm laughing because it's funny, not funny. And it's like awkward to me. Can you imagine if your loved one passed away and you told everyone that cared for them and respected them that they could purchase a ticket if they wanted to come to the service? No. You can't even make that make sense to me. It's not wrong to gather and grieve, but it is wise to notice when mourning is turned into momentum for someone else's agenda. Discernment in daily life comes in, and you really have to practice what you preach. So a couple things I do is, name my feeling. If I'm scared, I'm going to tell you I'm scared. If I'm angry, I'm going to say I'm angry, or that upset me, and I'm going to tell you why. When I speak it out loud, naming it weakens its control. So I'm putting it out there and getting it out of me. Therefore, it is not controlling me anymore because I have now released it, so to speak. So if you feel a certain way, you should not fear speaking how you feel out loud. You just shouldn't. And if you do, you need a new set of people around you. Pause before you share. Now, I've been criticized for the things that I share on my Facebook, the questions I pose. Ask yourself this. When you're doing it, are you trying to add clarity? Like, I share things in so that I can make I'm raising awareness, or I am asking for those who feel they're an expert in the subject to please tell me how this is true or not true, or how do they feel about a situation. I ask myself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it the whole truth? Now, these are 2 different things. Being true and truthful is also part of the whole truth. But as you know, there are many truths that lead to the whole truth. Hence, there are many sides to a story, that kind of a thing. And who benefits if everyone believes this? Who benefits? So if someone's benefiting from grief or a national disaster, there's an agenda there. You have to see that. Like, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you the next time you see something major happen and you see and can tie anything back to that, t-shirt selling, political campaigns, buying a ticket to a service, there's always an agenda behind something that ties into something else. If someone is mass murdered, or there is a mass murder or a calling, and suddenly you see thousands of gun activists selling shirts that say, to stop selling guns, that's an agenda. It's as simple as that. It's literally something tragic happens, and then people, whether it's TikTok influencers, whether you're at Amazon storefront, everyone is running to their carts and they're pushing out, their stuff to make money off of things. That's an agenda. That is using something tragic for something good in the aspect of you're financially getting what you need money-wise if this is your work. But are you actually pushing a narrative because you believe it? I'll give you an example. On my TikTok, I have seen every influencer suddenly start selling a cross, a magnetic cross that you can put on the outside of your vehicle, displaying that you believe in something. The cross. If you're displaying the cross, to me that means you believe in Jesus Christ and you believe he was crucified, because that is a symbol of crucifixion. And these people, if you go through their previous posts or their other posts, they've never talked about religion in their life. To me, that's wrong. If you're pushing something just to make money off of it, and it involves a political stance or religious stance, that's wrong. You should not be doing that, because you're influencing the people who cannot freely think based off of just you saying, yeah, you need this cross. And yes, you should believe in God and Jesus and all the things. And that's not really giving people a foundation. Our bodies, our minds it's like a house. You have to lay the foundation before you can build a house. And a lot of people are forgetting that. And always seek at least 2 credible sources. Don't let one headline, one video clip, or one sermon be the whole story. If you're watching a video clip and you're watching and you see a headline, or you go to church and you get the sermon that Sunday. If you only go to church on Sundays and the rest of the week you don't even practice religion, what are you getting from that sermon? And are you taking notes? Are you remembering everything, or are you just remembering what made sense to you, but are you remembering it out of context? And do you have the context to back up what the scripture actually was? What was the sermon about? A lot of times, and a lot of religious friends of mine will say, if you really want to understand scripture in a sermon, you better read the part of it that is being said to you, but also the part before and the part after. And then compassion and truth together. I want to say this clearly. You can hold compassion and you can still demand accountability. You can mourn and still call for justice. I am mourning the death of all of these people, these children the podcaster, I don't want to see anyone die, especially by the hands of a shooter or by bombs or war. It's just, or famine. It's just not necessary. Love and truth are not enemies. So just because someone is seeking the truth and an understanding, they should not be condemned for asking questions and for not believing what the media says or what the government says. I mean, we all know that the government doesn't always tell you the whole truth, and I want to believe in the government just like everyone else. I want to trust that the people who are responsible for the well-being of humanity would, have our back. But I mean, history repeats itself, and it's true that hasn't always been the case. They don't always have our best interest, which is why we have state representatives, and then it just trickles down into the community seats, commissioners, because it takes a village and it takes different points of view to come to that kind of understanding. But fear, I see a lot of fear. I feel it. I see it. I hear people talking out of fear. The fear is a tool of control. When you are afraid, the system will feed on it. Systems will feed on your fear and your lack of knowledge, your lack of understanding. Why do you think they censor things? Why do you think they take books off of people that cured cancer? And why do you think that they, again, it's an agenda. If you're disrupting an agenda and you're not just falling in line and you're believing everything that you're told and doing what you're told, be a good little child, even though we're adults, that's fear. That is fear. Unless you feel it in your heart that you are doing the right thing in it and you're sure that it's love and it's coming from love, then it's fear. And whether it's politicians, preachers, you need to pay attention. Look who gains money or power or loyalty when that fear spreads. How to protect your energy from all this? Well, I'm still figuring that part out. But I will say that I have learned to create small boundaries. I will limit the amount of responses I give to people. Sometimes I won't respond at all. I used to feel like I had to respond to every comment, every question that was posed back to me. But I can almost tell now by the tone in the text, and people will say that texts don't show emotion, but I have learned to read between the lines. Working in IT and being on computers a lot helps me to see that. I can see when someone is coming from a good place or a bad place, and I see a lot of it. So don't engage. If you don't want to, the saying, just keep scrolling, do it. You don't have to. And you don't have to explain yourself either if you don't want to. Ground yourself daily with a prayer, take a walk, take a breath, deep breaths. Breathing exercises are wonderful, whatever roots you. When you feel the room tilt or you feel an energy shift and it feels not good, unsafe, it feels like you're being lied to, just say to yourself, I'm guided. I know I'm protected. I'm divinely protected. Fear will not make my choices for me. Just keep telling yourself you will not be led by fear. Fear will not make your choices. Try to see the light. Read between the lines. Most importantly, hold on to love. Anything good comes from a loving perspective. If you are being fed a narrative or you are being told to do this and to do that and you should think this way and think that way, and it does not feel like it's love and free, finding Jesus and God for me was freeing. I found peace going to church when no one was in the church. I would lay down on the pew and I would just sit there. Or when I sang in chorus, music. There are ways to feel his presence and to feel love. But if you go into a room or you're alone, if you're sitting alone and you feel negative and you feel negative energy around you, you might need to go and be around positive people because it's going to rub off on you. Go find the tribe that fits with you. Go find the ones who feel safe and loving, but don't just take it for what it is. A lot of things will feel like it's safe. It will feel like it's the right thing to do. But the minute your gut tells you otherwise, listen to it. Love will steady the voices. It will steady your voice. Love will keep you clear. Fear will burn out very quickly. Fear is like bombs going off. It's very loud. It gets your attention. It draws you in, but it goes away. As fast as it happens, it goes away. But love endures the test of time. Love will keep going. It will keep you going. So as I close today, I just want you to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Put your hand over your heart if you can. Hold on to your rosary beads. Hold on to your crystals, whatever stones you like to hold on to. Go put your feet, your bare feet on the ground. Take a deep breath. Know that you are loved. People will love you, and you can love others too without judgment, without recourse. You don't need to fear being a loving person. It is not weakness. Love is the strongest foundation we have. It lasts. When you are kind and sweet to someone, or when you do something small, they remember you. Weeks later, oh, I was at the drive-thru and somebody paid for my food. Oh, I was at the store and they saw I was struggling to carry my bags and they offered to carry my bags to my car, or they held the door open for me. That is love. When your pastor, your preacher will sit with you and he will let you ask all the questions, all the feels, and he will answer you with love, not fear, or tell you that you don't need to ask those questions or that you need to just trust me. That's not a good pastor or priest. That's not how the world works. That's not how our minds work. And that is programming. You don't have to live that way. A good pastor, a good preacher, a good political person is an open book. They will give you honest answers, and they will also work for the people, for the greater good from a loving standpoint. Some of the best people I found in the political world come from religious backgrounds. I find that when you have a good, solid foundation and you believe in a higher power, it makes you more accountable, and they tend to do more positive things and what they would consider God's work, and they're helping humanity by being a voice for us. So again, light is light, dark is dark. But what happens in the dark, when there is darkness, light always shines through. Light will always make the darkness go away. Think of a dark room, you're the flashlight. Walk in there, shine your light, and just blind them all. Because that's what the world needs. We need this. We need love. Love holds us. It's truth. It steadies us. Remember, even when the night feels heavy, when the energy feels different, we are never walking alone. Never. And as always, love is the answer. And I'll see you next time.